I am fortunate enough to be all the way from Texas here with Dustin Hoeffler, who was fourth in the 2023 World Armlifting Championships by only 5 points out of the 300 total. It was a super close competition. Dustin, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
All right. Hey, let's get right into it. Why don't you introduce yourself for the viewers at home who might not be familiar with who you are and what you can do? I know what you can do, but why don't you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, name's Dustin Hoeffler. From outside of Houston, Texas. 27 years old, so I'm kind of the young gun whenever it comes to the big boy weight class. Um, I've been, in and out of sports stuff all my life, obviously, and took a big break, focusing on a career and family and all that kind of stuff. And I guess 2021 was kind of the turning point to start training pretty heavily again. Um, but yeah, I mean, my big thing is strongman. That's what I love. That's what I started with, and figured out I magically have this great grip. And so in the meantime, we'll play around with this, and it doesn't hurt to have an amazing grip. So it's fun to try all the different implements and stuff like that, and slowly grow. And the community, honestly, it's a lot like strongman. Everyone's friends. We all help each other. We all text each other in the background, giving each other advice. I mean, it's an awesome community. There's no sabotage going on. There's nothing like that like you see in a lot of other sports. So it's very nice.
Well, thanks, Dustin. And I think you're absolutely right. I think most of us older folks have competed in strongman, powerlifting, track and field, Highland Games, all of the above, Olympic lifting. I've competed in all of those, but Olympic lifting. So we've been around the block. So, and you're right. It definitely does not hurt to have a strong grip, whether you're in strongman, powerlifting, or anything else. So obviously, you just finished up your first year competing in arm lifting. Can you talk a little bit about the Mr. Olympia World Championships in Florida and how you felt with your performance and just overall atmosphere? Talk about that, please.
Yeah, the Olympia was great. It's one of those shows that you kind of grow up, seeing and hearing about, and so being able to actually go get invited and just be there in general is awesome in its own. As far as the competition goes, I mean it went great smoothly. I kind of went in with zero expectations. You do your best and you come out where you belong. I kind of still kicking myself in the butt for making the certain jumps that I did when it came to like the grandfather clock. And that's just, it's just part of the game. And if I've gone back and done the math, and had I either not jumped or just not let the things fun, I would have been on the podium, and that's where we are now because of it. So we're coming back with a vengeance to the Arnold and make sure that it doesn't happen again. But yeah, it was a great show, great atmosphere, especially on Saturday. Whenever we go, the population, just the head count in the show itself, in the expo itself, is double that of Friday. So it's a really cool environment, and I can only imagine that Arnold's going to be 10 times that, just because it's the Arnold. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it was great. We left with tons of new friends that we keep up with now, on a daily basis pretty much. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was definitely one of those things that you don't ever want to pass up the opportunity to do. Life changes so fast, and that's why I tell everybody, like, I would rather, go to the big show and kicked, you know, and instead of skipping the first invitation and never, either never getting invited again, or, something happen, and you never know. So you got to jump on those opportunities every chance you get to put yourself up there with the absolute best in the world.
Well, I kind of think you're going to be doing that here in about 3.5 weeks. Um, I don't release on purpose the competitors because I don't want to put pressure on everyone. And I tell everyone the same thing. Hey, bring the best version of you to the contest and let the chips fall where they may. But yeah, who are you looking forward to meeting at the Arnold or competing against that maybe wasn't in Florida that you would like to see?
Well, I know there's a few heavy hitters that are gonna be showing up that weren't in Florida. I don't know if Carl's gonna be there. I haven't seen anything out of him. I would assume he'll be there. Really looking forward to seeing and meeting Luke from Australia. He's been awesome. We've been chit-chatting back and forth and super cool dude. So both of them are, my two I got to meet, Ode at in Orlando. So that's one of those childhood things that you're able to check off when you get to meet Ode. So yeah, like I said, Carl and Luke are probably the two I'm most looking forward to meeting and competing against. And like I said, I mean, we're just going to come in and we all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses. There's no point in freaking yourself out about what these guys are doing, what those guys are doing. Just come in and do what you can. And like you said, the chips are going to lie where they lie. So
Right. Yeah, for sure. The numbers don't lie, but your double overhand deadlift, which I personally consider to be the cornerstone of arm lifting, right? If you're strong and you can deadlift, that's one thing. If you deadlift on an unknurled axle, that's a different ball game,
yep.
as you're very aware. And you're very good axle deadlifter. So I think by kicking that event off on the big stage in front of 20,000 people, I'm just so excited to be there. Unfortunately, my group doesn't get to lift on the stage, but again, I'm here for the athletes, not for myself personally all the time. So I will be announcing all those massive deadlifts. Um, yeah, I think it's really there's people, Jason Dingy was excellent in Florida, and he's a
Mhm,
quiet guy. He doesn't really make mistakes. And I think we saw that in
mhm.
Florida. He's experienced. He was been to Russia with me in 2019. He's certainly been around the block and he knows what he's doing. Very, very cerebral. He's got it all dialed in. So yeah, you're gonna have your work cut out for you, and I'm not sure where the body weights are going to be of some of our other international guests. So we're just going to see what happens
Yep.
and watch you guys get after it. Um, what is your favorite event to compete in, Dustin? What's your absolute favorite of the arm lifting events?
I would have to say probably double overhand axle. It's kind of the one that made me realize I have a good grip. I'm a big Martins Lisa's fanboy, so I knew he did the grip stuff with Ode and everything. Just growing up and training and stuff, and so I kind of would compare, wherever I could. I'm like, I think I might actually, have a decent shot at this kind of stuff. Um, and so that's kind of the one I love. And the axle itself, I mean, it's what people don't realize. Like, yes, you have to have the good grip for what we do, but we're all. I'm really hoping I can pull 500 on the main stage, and I know there's a few other guys that are going to be 500 and above, and like to pull 500 pounds on an axle is a feat in its own, and then to do it, without straps or anything along those lines, the axle makes a deadlift a very hard lift. Much less doing it with no straps, no tacky, no nothing like that. It's a heavy lift. I mean, you've got to be a 600 plus pound deadlifter to pick up 500 pounds on an axle. So that's kind of the most fun one to me. The Saxon bar, we'll see. I've built a bar to train with here at home, and it's pretty slippery, so it'll be a little surprise whenever I get there on comp day and have a nice competition bar. And then yeah, like I said, we've been working on the grandfather clock, so I'm honestly pretty excited to see what I can do on that. I've been dialing in technique and stuff along those lines, so it doesn't bite me in the butt like it did last time.
Yeah, well, I agree. And let's take a couple steps back, Dustin. If we go into a regular gym, just in Texas, California, wherever, and we load up an axle and ask people to pull double overhand with 300 pounds, forget about 4 or 5, 300 pounds. The thing is not going to move off the earth too often. Let's be real. Even
Yep.
among the college football players, they're not going to be able to pick up the axle because the grip is going to fail unless they either are some kind of freak, right?
Mhm.
And now we take it up to 400 pounds. And again, we're dealing with only a handful of arm lifting specialists who are getting 400 pounds or super heavyweight strongmen that are some of the strongest humans walking around the planet, and maybe some of the super heavyweight power lifters and Olympic lifters can do it too. They're big, strong men. But now you wait and see. You get to 450, people, the best of the best are eliminated. So for people to be mentioning, yourself included, and you're a big, strong dude, to be mentioning 500 pounds. I mean, we had 3 people do it last year. I don't even know what's going to happen this year, but that is an elite of elite marks. And I fully say this, and I know Martins very well. In fact, here's a fun fact, Dustin. In 2015, at the LA Fit Expo, Martins and I tied for 3rd place in the arm
really?
lifting, and I beat him on body weight. I was much heavier than I beat him, and he was much smaller.
Yeah.
I beat him
Yeah.
271 to 278 on body weight, and I got 3rd. Wow. Haven't beaten him again since, and probably never will. But I take the wins when you can get them, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, Martins, I think his best axle is 485. He hasn't pulled 500 pounds, and he's the world's strongest man. So that goes to show you, and I don't think Brian Shaw has done it officially. He may have done it in his gym, and I wouldn't question anything Brian Shaw could do. There's not one single strength feat I would put past him, but I don't think he's pulled 500, certainly not in a contest. So, I mean, you're talking about a very teeny tiny list of people if you get on that. So I can't wait for this thing. I'm in good shape too for my set of competitors. So I just can't wait for the energy. And you'll see with the people, because the Arnold is more dense and it's Columbus, it's cold, it's not Orlando where it's nice weather, it's cold, everyone's inside. There's a different energy about the Arnold. And you know, now that we're on the main stage, maybe we'll even see the namesake himself will make an appearance. He turns up out of nowhere. Cool. So I hope he comes, because we're going to have quite a show for him. So anything else you'd like the viewers at home to know? I know you have to get back to work here in a second. Anything else you'd like the viewers to know?
Yeah, no, I mean, I wish everybody the best in their training and their travels, and we'll throw down in a month's time and see who comes out on top.
All right, Dustin, it's always a pleasure. I look forward to you and seeing you in Columbus. Train hard, travel safe, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you.